Hey guys, so I'm testing a new overlay. I'm just playing around with them, seeing which ones I like. This one seems pretty cool so far, but I did want to bring something up. And we did get at least one person talking in our live stream earlier, but um, I think they didn't really want to touch on the subject I'd posted because honestly, I think it's just too much of a hot topic right now for some people. Um, from what I'm reading, there's a lot of people who are taking it way more seriously than others, but at the same time, I don't think a lot of people really care. But I'm talking about the Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf situation. Now, one thing I want to point out is when it comes to hot button situations like that, everybody needs to wait before coming to any conclusions. There has been too many times where there's been an incident that occurs, and that the initial story that comes out and the initial reporting for the first couple of weeks at least is incorrect and impartial, and not impartial, but incomplete. Um, a lot of the stuff that came out about this scenario, especially with what happened, uh, initial reports and the initial stories that people are coming out with just don't appear to be true, based on what's been coming out in trial, from what I understand. There, and to just to bring this home, let's look at what's happened in the past. You know, the incidences with George Floyd, George Zimmerman, the what's that dude's name? He went across state lines. His name is eluding me. Like chubby looking guy cried during his trial. Anyways, that situation, um, the hands up don't shoot situation, Michael Brown situation, all of those incidences, the initial reporting, the stories that everybody believed were incorrect, um, by a wide margin. Um, and unfortunately, a lot of times it doesn't come out until the trial when the evidence is presented on hand. Now, one of the interesting things I want to talk about is actually the Michael Brown case, because the hands up don't shoot thing that everybody associates with Michael Brown apparently didn't happen. It came out in court that didn't happen the way that it was described. Um, and the interesting thing is, I didn't know about that until I wrote the court transcripts. And that would have been something that would have been extremely useful to use. That would have been news. Hey, guys, you know, this part of the story that we initially told you was incorrect. And listening to people who were talking about this Metcalf Carmelo Anthony case, I'm seeing the same thing. You know, there's people who believe that Austin Metcalf and several of his friends went and jumped Carmelo Anthony for sitting under their tent. And that just doesn't appear to be true at all based on what's come out in court and the testimony that's being put forward. Now, it could be the case that all these folks are lying. And it could be a case that it may be racially motivated to a degree, but unfortunately it just doesn't look that way. Um, there was grievance with the, what do you call it? The jury having no black folks on it, but the page two of that is that it's not all white folks on the jury either. There's Latinos and Asians on the jury, and I believe it's at least seven of the jurors in total that are um, total combined that are from those two demographics. So again, that's something that would have been useful information, but for some reason it's left out to push a narrative that, you know, Carmelo Anthony is being set up by basically the white man. Um, it's just a lot of things going on that just really just aren't verifiably true. There's an older gentleman who was doing interviews stating that he saw some video footage in the courtroom that backed up Carmelo Anthony's story and did show that it was more or less a case of self-defense for Carmelo Anthony. But everything that that man said, from what I understand, is contradicted by, you know, what people are saying, what other people are saying is coming out in court. And also, apparently, there's some, what do you call it? Not ethical, but trustworthy issue, trustworthiness issues with that particular gentleman, because apparently he's done some stuff in the past that makes his testimony as to what he saw on the video in the courtroom to be kind of questionable. Now, we just have to go by what the facts are and what's come out. And from what I understand, it looks like Carmelo Anthony is cooked, as the young kids would say. But the whole my whole message here, just to sum it up, is we can't come to heavy-handed conclusions about situations like this until the evidence comes out in court. Now, if the evidence is BS and we can prove that it's BS, then let's call it BS. But if the evidence is solid and it may go one way or another in terms of whether someone's guilty or innocent, then we have to go with where those threads take us. You know, if it came out that Carmelo Anthony actually did find himself in a legit self-defense scenario, then let's be honest about it and move forward with that. But, you know, let's just not say that Carmelo Anthony is innocent and shouldn't go to jail because because of the color of his skin. Um, I've been seeing a lot of chatter from my more woke folks who are stating that he's being set up because he's black and he should be let go. And then, there's that viral clip of that lady who, when asked if the evidence said that Karmelo Anthony was guilty, would you still support it or support him? And the lady basically, to summarize what she said, was, they, meaning white people, look out for their own, so we're going to stand up and look out for our own. And that's just a really bad way of going about things, in my opinion, because you're going to potentially let somebody who's guilty walk scot-free just because he's of your group. And that's just not right, especially in a multicultural society. Yeah. But so far, it looks like, from what I understand of the testimony, Carmelo Anthony taunted the other guy into touching him, and then he stabbed him in the chest. Which brings me to part 2 of what I wanted to talk about. But let me stop it here, and I'll restart.